Hi everyone, it's Don and I hope you're having a fantastic day. Well, one of the scariest things that can possibly happen on a cruise ship just happened on the Pacific Adventure, a P&O cruise ship with over 3,000 passengers, 1,000 crew members. Well, she caught fire off the coast of New South Wales, and if the rumors going around are true, somebody's in some big trouble. First off, I want to give some quick updates for you carnival people sailing out of Galveston this week, because there's been a change to your final boarding pass as far as times is concerned. And that is that normally when you're sailing, you have 60 minutes. You have to be on the ship before 60 minutes before the ship is supposed to set sail. So if it's supposed to set sail at 4 o'clock, you have till 3 o'clock to get boarded, otherwise you may not be allowed on the ship. Well, they just adjusted all the times on the 3 ships sailing out of Galveston, Texas this week. And that's the Carnival Breeze, the Carnival Dream, and the Carnival Vista. All are affected, where you now have to be on board 90 minutes ahead of time. They also say, don't show up early. You'll be turned away if you show up early. Show up at your appointed time, but if your appointed time is at the time when they now say the new time is therefore you have to be on board, adjust it accordingly by that half hour. So if your time is actually to get on board, say at 2:30, well, 2:30 is just, 2:30 to 3 is within that 90-minute window. You now have to show up between 2 and 2:30 instead of 2:30 to 3. It's a real kerfuffle. No real explanation as to why they've done it. All sailings after June 3rd are back to normal, back to 60 minutes. No idea why the 90 minutes for this particular week, but there you go. If you're on the Dream, the Breeze, the Vista this week, you have to be attentive to when you're getting on the ship, shall we say. And I'd show up a little early just to be safe. Even though your window might not be there, I'd rather wait outside for a couple, an hour extra and get on the ship than show up 10 minutes late and have them say, sorry, you can't get on board. That would not be fun. Now, the P&O Pacifica is currently sailing on a 3-day cruise out of New South Wales with a lot of passengers. 3,000 guests are on board, 1,000 plus crew members are on board, and around 3:15 in the morning, a fire broke out in one of the cabins. It's kind of a discrepancy. Some places are saying that it's a balcony. Some people are saying it was inside the cabin. When you look at the photos, it certainly looks like it's coming from inside the cabin, but you can see it obviously from the balconies because the fire is inside. All guests were evacuated. The alarms went off and had to assemble in their muster stations. The crew apparently did a great job. The fire was put out almost immediately. They double checked it, make sure there was no fire anywhere else inside any of the walls or things like that. And they allowed guests to go back around 5:15 in the morning. So just over 2 hours roughly of inconvenience in the middle of the night on a 3-day cruise. If you're there with your kids, that was horrible. That's a horrible night for you, right? And really puts a damper on your cruise. But people are saying that the crew were really good. They kept everybody informed. Some places they were passing out water and things like that, and at no time did anyone really feel like they were in danger, which is a good thing, because fire on a cruise ship in the middle of the ocean is the biggest danger that most cruise ships will ever face. And the P&O cruise on the Adventure did a really good job here on the Pacific Adventure. Now here's some of the stories that are coming out when some people were, posting to social media. One person has said, well, a few people have said, but I think they're quoting somebody, that it was caused by a cigarette in bed. If that's true, if that holds true, that person is, how you say, up the creek without a paddle, if that is found to be the cause by fire investigators. Because first of all, you're not allowed to smoke in your cabin. So not only is it a rule on the cruise ships, it's a federal rule, a safety rule, and they could literally now be charged with the damage. It could be a crime. They could end up going to jail. Those are extreme situations, but those are the charges that could be brought. Now, if somebody had, God forbid, lost their lives in this or got badly burned, they'd also be liable for any damage and that would happen because they broke a law on the cruise ship, whether it's inadvertently happened or not. So that's just a warning, and that's it hasn't been proven yet. There's got to be an investigation, but it did look like it was coming from inside the cabin, and usually when it's like that, it's somebody did something in that cabin they weren't supposed to do. Snuck a hot plate in, had a faulty extension cord, or like with a surge protector, which you're not supposed to have. They're supposed to have no surge protectors on them. Something, right? A cell phone overheat, something. But if it's found to be somebody was smoking in their cabin when you're not allowed to smoke on the cruise ship, period, that could be a whole lot of trouble. Now, thankfully, it seems like no crew members and no passengers were hurt. They just had an inconvenient time in the middle of the night. As I said, one of the most scary things that can possibly happen out there is that, right? A fire on a cruise ship. It can just run like a forest fire. It's surprising how fast it can go. A forest fire in heavy winds can actually outrun people. That's how fast it can spread and move. And the same thing can be, think of how windy it is on a cruise ship. So thankfully the fire alarms went off quickly. Thankfully it caught the fire. The crew reacted quickly, got everybody to safety, and got the fire out before anybody was injured. That's the best news we could possibly have going from that situation. I'll keep you informed if it's found out that somebody was actually smoking in their cabin, and if that's the case, what might happen to them. Also, don't forget, if you're on the Breeze, the Dream, and the Vista, make sure you know that early boarding time now, that extra half hour, because I don't want to make a story next week about somebody missing their ship because they arrived 15 minutes too late. Well, I hope you appreciate this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Want to see more tips, more tricks, more travel vlogs from around the world? Hit that subscribe button. Till next time, have yourself a safe and a great vacation.